to our Learn to Crochet series where we are working on our baby diamond blanket. Last week we went over the pattern and how to do the corner to corner baby diamond blanket and increase it. This week what we're going to do is we're going to go over the steps it takes to decrease the blanket to make it into a square. So last week we stopped at row 15, which is halfway through the blanket, and if you're following along, this is what the halfway should look like. So from here we're actually going to decrease it. And so we increased it to go this way, and then when we decrease it, we're going to go inwards to make a square, which will end up actually looking like this. This is one square that I finished. All of your squares will actually end up looking exactly the same. Now, the way that we get the actual design on the blanket is just the positioning of the different positioning of the squares that we have. So, without any further ado, let's go ahead and get started back with row 16 where we decrease. Now, last week, when we left off on row 15, it actually says at the end of row 15, up here somewhere, there it is, 15, don't know my numbers. It says to fasten off. I am not actually going to do that because I feel that that step is unnecessary, because as long as you're following the color combinations, then your square is still going to turn out exactly the way it's supposed to. With the fastening, because it says every so often, fasten off, it makes no sense to me, because you're just going to fasten off and then reattach another piece of yarn when you could do like we were doing before and just finish the last stitch in the next color and just keep going. So that's how we're going to do it. So with row 16, we've done the row 15, we did the one row with C, and so my color C is actually this white. So with row 16, we need color A. So let's go on ahead and get our color A on here, which is my purple. So I've done all that I need to do. I did the last stitch and I've still not completely finished it. So I'm just going to grab my color A. I'm going to loop it over my finger just like that. Insert the hook and finish it off. Now once we've done that, now we can cut off that white yarn. Again, leaving just that little bit of a tail. Alright, I'm going to get everything situated and then we're going to turn our work. And then let's get started. If I can, there we go. Alright, so row 16, we're going to decrease block. So again, we're going to go back up here to special stitches. Decrease block. You're going to join yarn with the slip stitch in chain 3 space of first block of previous row. That is what we would be doing if we did fasten off up here like it said to it on row 15. However, I'm not going to be fastening off. If you fastened off, that is completely fine. It's no big deal. You'll just do a slip stitch with the yarn like I've showed in previous videos. Put the yarn on your hook and then just put it in that little first chain 3 space right here. And then you'll just continue working on like it says to do, the chain 3, 3 double crochet, chain 3. Now, if you're following along what I'm doing and not fastening off, we're over here on the edge. Let me move this yarn out of the way. We're over here. We need to be over here in this first chain 3 space. The way we're going to do that is we're going to slip stitch into the top of all 3 of the double crochets. So we're going to take our ends, tuck them behind the work. So we're going to go into the first double crochet. It's a little hidden here because you've got yarn pulling opposite direction of you. So we're just going to, there we go, get that in there. Slip stitch, you're going to yarn over and completely pull through. And we're going to the next double crochet, yarn over. I'm working with these little tails, trying to get them to lay down, yarn over, and pull through. And then in the third one, you're going to, again, slip stitch, yarn over, and pull through. Now, we've gotten over to the chain 3 space. However, we're still not completely there yet. So what we need to do is we actually need to go into that chain 3 space and do a slip stitch in that space as well. So yarn over and pull through. Now we can continue doing our blocks like we have been. So chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and then 3 double crochet. 1, 2, I'm gonna get some yarn, and 3. So normally what would have happened is we had continued to keep increasing, we would have made an extra one right in this area. But since we are decreasing, we don't need that one extra one, so we just went from way over here to over here to start the decreasing and start moving inwards and upwards. So now for the rest of them, we're going to do that same block method that we have been doing, where we go into the next chain 3 space, do the slip stitch again, chain 3, and 3 double crochet. 1, 2, 3. So we're actually going to continue this method all the way until we get to this the next to the last one here. So I'm going to go ahead and get all the way over there for you. So we're going to slip stitch, chain 3, and 3 double crochet. Again, slip stitch, chain 3, and 3 double crochet. And then we're just going to continue working all the way across just like we have been. Okay, and there's 2, one more in that one. 3, chain 3, 3 double crochet. Alright, and now if you're still a little lost, you can always go back to last week's video where I showed you how to do the increase. You know, pause it whenever you need to, watch it as many times as you need to. Or you can actually also go to my YouTube channel. I have actually uploaded the video to the YouTube channel as well. So you can go onto YouTube and watch it. And you can also go to my website where in the blog section, it's posted there as well. So you can either go back to last week's video on here on the Facebook page and watch it, or you can either go to YouTube or my website to rewatch that video as many times as you need to. So again, we're just continuing the block method where we slip stitch into that chain 3 space of the previous row. Then we chain 3 and 3 double crochet, just doing it all the way across. A lot of people get scared of doing corner to corner method. I was one of those people. And I didn't realize I've done this blanket before with using regular yarn a few years ago, and I didn't realize that this was actually the method that was used. And I saw a blanket one time that was, wanting to do a corner to corner. I was like, I don't know how to do this. This seems too difficult for me. But once you learn how to do the corner to corner, I have actually done many blankets using the corner to corner method just because it is so quick and so easy, and you really don't have to sit there and like you do with normal blankets, like count 1, 2, 3. You don't have to do that with the corner to corner. You just kind of absent-mindedly go along with it, and you're not really having to keep counting much of it. Okay, so we've gotten to this last stitch here where we just finished off, and then we've got the one more block here. So what we had been doing was, we've been going into this block, into that chain 3 space, slip stitching, 3 chains, and 3 double crochets. But since we're going to be decreasing, we're actually just going to go into this chain 3 space and just do a slip stitch, and we're done. So what's that doing? It says that instead of it taking upwards and outwards, we're taking it upwards and inwards to make the square. So now once we've done that, we're going to turn our work over. And now since we're still decreasing like we did before, we're going to have to, we're over here on the edge, we need over here in this chain 3 space. So we need to get over there somehow. And the way that somehow that we're going to do it is that we are going to, again, slip stitch into the top of each of the 3 double crochets we just did. So we'll go into the first one, slip stitch, second one, third one, and then once we've done that third one, we still need to get into this space here. So we're just going to go into that space and do a slip stitch there. So now that took us from over on the edge here to over here where we need to be. So again, we're just going to do our block. We're going to chain 3 and 3 double crochet. Now, if we look at the pattern here, we just did 16. We're starting down here with 17 and 18. So 17 and 18, slip stitch in the first 3 double crochet, which we did, block in chain 3 space of each block to last block, which we've been doing. But again, you can always go up here to the where it says special stitches on the pattern, and where it says block, it's just a slip stitch into the chain 3 space, and then you're going to do a chain 3 and 3 double crochet. So 17 and 18, that's what we're going to be doing with the same color as 16, which is our color A, or in my case, the purple. So we've done the 1 row of the purple, we're going to do 2 more. So essentially, what we're doing is if we look over here at the finished one, each corner is 2 rows of whatever color. Then you have 1 row in between. So, for example, this corner is pink, this corner is purple. We have the 2 rows of purple and 2 rows of pink. Then on my example, we have 1 row of white in between each color. So the white is on either side of the color. So it's like on this side of the purple, this side of the purple, this side of pink, this side of pink. It kind of breaks up the colors. So we're going to have 1 row of the white, 3 rows of 1 color, 1 row of white, 1 row of white, 3 rows of 1 color, 1 row of white. That's pretty much the same pattern that we're doing all the way throughout until we get to the corners, which is just going to have the 2. So now we're just going to, we've done the 1 row and the 1 color. We're going to do our second row, or row 17. So we've done the first block, we're going to go into the next one. Chain 3, 3 double crochet, slip stitch into the next one, chain 3, 3 double crochet, again, slip stitch, chain 3, 3 double crochet. And I know you probably get tired of me hearing say slip stitch, chain 3, 3 double crochet. But to be honest, when I'm doing things, repetitiveness in my mind, honestly, I guess it's kind of like a, when somebody plays guitar, they don't have to think about where their fingers are going. It's the muscle memory just does it. So that's kind of what this is, after you've done it so long and practiced so many times, you're not having to think, oh, well, a double crochet is, yarn over, pull through the first 2, or double crochet isn't, yarn over, insert the hook, yarn over, pull through first 2, pull through last 2. You just automatically do it because you've done it so many times. Now, there are times where, I'll now get to talking or get to watching TV or something, and I'm thinking, oh, how many stitches did I just do in there? So I'll have to stop and count to make sure that, that I've done the correct amount of stitches that I'm supposed to. Sometimes I don't count. That's happened to me before where I have actually, like if I'm working on this row, and I get to this block and I think something doesn't look right, and then I get to looking and it's not right because there's 1 stitch missing. Well, it's because I didn't count and we got distracted. But you know what? I'm not taking it apart just for 1 extra stitch, especially if I'm working way up here and then realize that, oh, I messed up somewhere down here. I'm not taking that off part. I'm just going to go with it. It'll work fine. So we're just going to continue to do the blocks, which is the slip stitch, chain 3, 3 double crochet. Again, I know it's repetitive, but literally in my mind when I'm doing this, I'm thinking to myself, chain 3, 3 double crochet, chain 3, 3 double crochet. Just so I can keep track of where I'm at within the pattern or the project that I'm working on. So again, just doing this all the way across until we get only having one more down. And I'm moving my square because I'm running out of gum. Okay, so once again, we're here at this last square, this last block. So what we're going to do is we're just going to go into that last chain 3 space. We're just going to slip stitch and pull it through. So you can actually already see on this end, this is where we started at. So this was the halfway point as we were working up. You can already start to see it's already starting to come in and grow. So it's going to do that on both sides to create your square. So what I want you all to do is to look at the pattern. We just did 17, we still do 18 in this color. I want you all to go on ahead, finish out with the 18, and then finish the rest of it out. And I know it's going to say to fasten off. You can fasten off if you want to. And again, you'll just fasten off, do a slip stitch with the yarn, put the yarn on the hook, and insert the hook into the first chain 3 space. Or you can do like we've been doing here and just complete the stitch with the next color yarn and just keep going. Again, as long as you maintain that color pattern, it's not going to make a difference. So let's see here. Where it says rows 20 through 22 with color B, so make sure you have your color B, we're going to repeat rows 16 through 18. So then what we're going to do is we're just going to jump right back up here to row 16 and just do 16, 17, 18 all over again. And then, let's see, I missed 19. So with 19, with color C, repeat row 16. So we're going to have color C, we're going to go up here 16, do exactly what 16 says. And then you can actually see here, at the end it's going to say 11 blocks. So that means, if you want to keep track, you can actually count. You can count each block or tile to make sure that you have the correct number. So let's see, for 18, it says that I should have 12 blocks, but I'm not on row 18, I'm on 17, the one before. So instead of 12, I should have 13. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. And I do. That lets me know that I'm on the right track to getting everything finished. So what I want you all to do from here is just finish out the rest of the pattern with the decreasing. That way you'll have your whole complete square. Once you have the complete square, just start back from the very beginning, work another square. It says to make 9 squares. Now, once we get all these squares together, you can make 9. You can put them together side by side to see if they're actually going to be, you know, once you get the 9, put them all together. And the way you're going to put them together, making sure the corner colors line are the same. So, see, my purples are here, then we have the pinks, the purples, and so on. That is actually, once you get 2 more down here with the purples, that is actually what's going to create the diamond shape. So, when you get your 9 squares, you're going to put them together, 3 across and 3 down. Just like this, make sure that the same colors are touching. Once you have that, if you feel like, oh, I don't think my blanket's going to be enough, or it's going to be big enough, you can always make more squares and just add them on like this, so that way it can be as big as you want it to be. So once you get all of your squares done and decreased and set aside, next week when we come back, I'm actually going to show you how we're going to go in and attach each square together to make the whole blanket. So again, you can always rewatch this video. I'll post this video on my YouTube page as well as my website. And then again, my last week's video is also on YouTube and the website. If there are any questions, feel free to let me know. I hope you all have a great weekend and happy crocheting.